Right, here, good morning and welcome to Sukkah Daf Nun Aleph 51.
Say hello to
Dovid, Tagid Shalom.
Shalom, Boker Tov.
David Lorenzi. He's part of my shir now, and he told me a very nice word. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the Yetzer Hara. So, I told him that the Yetzer Hara is going to be on Shabbos. The Daf is going to fall out on Shabbos. So there's the Yetzer Hara to give a shir with a video on Shabbos. I'm going to have to withstand that Yetzer Hara. David told me a different shot on the Yetzer Hara. He said that he's telling me not to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. No, it's okay.
No.
Now, the gemara says in Shabbos that a woman, whatever.
You're right.
No, don't worry about it. Alright, don't worry about it. David's telling me not to say it. David, come back here.
David, he's not saying it.
I'm not saying it. David, come back. Alright. Good sir. He wanted to say that a woman is like a kankan. Kankan in gematria is 300, like Yetzer, gematria of Yetzer. I'll just talk about kankan a little bit. Mashiach was as in Perkei Avos. You shouldn't look at the outside of a woman. You should look at the inside, the panemius. The panemius. What is the panemius? He had a different shot on panemius based on a gemara in Shabbos and Daf Kuf Nun Beis. You can look it up. Probably doesn't say the nice thing. Whatever it says. Malay Adam, so whatever the gemara says, but you could say the panemius is the midos tovos. That's what you can say. But I asked a question. I said, first of all, it says Yetzer. Yetzer, we're going to see Yetzer can be Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Tov. Right, Shmuel, there's Yetzer Hara and there's Yetzer Tov in this world. Right, so just Kankan is Yetzer. Maybe looking at the outside of Isha is Yetzer Tov. You like that, Shmuel? Shmuel doesn't like that. All right, Shmuel.
Is this all from because you're learning in Ezras Nashim, you have all these creeds?
We're going to actually learn about the Ezras Nashim in the Beis HaMikdash, in the simplest Beis Shaleva today, so it's apropos that you're talking about this. Ezras Nashim actually here is dedicated to my father-in-law. There's a big sign near the Amud over here that it was donated, the Amud and the shelves with all the Mesifta Gemaras that were taken from my father-in-law. My father-in-law bought Mesifta Gemaras, the whole set. His daughter, Rivka, donated all the Mesiftas to Bnei Yeshivas here and donated a bunch of shelves and an Amud over here to make it and some money to do that. So the whole Ezras Nashim is dedicated to my father-in-law, Shlomo Price. Is that Tzal? So it's fitting that I give the share in the Ezras Nashim, right?
That's right.
Also because women like me, so. All right, let's go.
I hope this is very good. And Mesifta is like as what the Daf Yomi people use. That's right. I mean, that's a Daf Yomi.
I was looking into this. You ever heard of the thing called alpha male? You know what an alpha male is?
I don't know. Alphabet.
This is actually the alpha generation. After Generation Z, which ended, people born from 1995 2010. People starting from 2010 onwards were born from that. That's called the alpha generation. Before that, it was called Generation Z. I'm a millennial. I'm generation. It's called Generation Y. Generation Y is 1980 to 1995. It's called the alpha generation, but alpha is the alpha male.
Alpha is a type of dog cereal or something. Remember Alpo?
You have a dog?
What's it all about, Alfie?
I don't know. Anyway, about the alpha male. Let's get back to the alpha male.
Yeah.
So, who's an alpha male? Alpha male is someone who's very boisterous. He's very loud. He says what's on his mind. He doesn't care what anyone else says. Right? Would you describe me as an alpha male?
Alpha male? You're the male. I'm male. That's for sure.
I'm a male. I'm a man.
Alpha?
Exactly.
I don't know what alpha is. That good? Ilfa. There was a story with Ilfa and
Right,
Ula. They went to.
Anyway, alpha male is somebody that says what's on his mind. I think of Donald Trump, something like that.
Okay,
maybe
let's
I'm
not
a little
talk
more
about these things
tamed
here.
down. Anyway,
This is getting off topic.
I'm saying, so I'm going to bring this back to over here. An alpha male is somebody that attracts women. Women are attracted to an alpha male. Why are they attracted to an alpha male? Because he values himself. He's someone that, his opinion of himself and other things is very high. He considers himself very important. He considers things that he does very important. And it gives value to himself. When you give value to yourself, people are attracted to that. Women want that type of man, and men want to be that type of man. So I think women like me, and men, I think they're a little jealous of me. They don't like me so much, but
I think so. People are very jealous.
but people also want to be me also. So anyway, let's start this year.
I think they're jealous of your name because Ben's your name has a very nice.
Lang, you like the name?
It sounds very. Yeah, it's a good ring to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's short and to the point, right? Like
Bensy
me.
Lang.
Short and to the point. All right. So the gemara says in the bottom of Nunam and Beis, Amar of Papa. Or Papa says, anyway, so I tie that into Ezras Nashim, and it's fitting that I'm an alpha male, and I'm giving a share in the Ezras Nashim. Got it? All
That's
right.
ridiculous.
All right.
I don't think you have to eat this Daf Yomi Shir.
Listen, it was all Dovid's fault. Dovid started it. Dovid comes over to me and he tells me this gemara in Shabbos, and Isha is Mlaya Adam.
Okay, let's learn. Let's learn. Let's go back to the.
I don't know where
Daf
Dovid comes from.
Amar Papa.
All right. Amar of Papa, the bottom of Nunam and Beis. Kitanai. So Machlokes Tanoim, whether we say Iker Shir is Bekli or Iker Shir is Bepeh, what the main type of music is. Is it with instruments or with your vocals? The Sanya Avdei Kohanim Hayu. The Gemara in Erchin has a brisa which talks about the people that played the instruments in the Beis Hamikdash. Who were they? So the Tanai comment said the Divrei Rabbi Meir. Meir says they were Avodim. Rabbi Yossi Omer Mishpachas Beis Hapagar and Mishpachas Beis Superior Mamum Hayu. They were these families of Yisraelim, and they were played from this place called Amamum. Shayu Masil Lakuna. They were Yisraelim that had good lineage, so there was no pagam in their families, so they could marry into the kuna. My love, Bahakam what are they? Sorry, that's the second opinion. He says they were actually Levium. Levium, we know they sang on the ducha, and he holds it also play the instruments.
Is there a machlokes about that? Oh, this is a machlokes.
This is machlokas. My love, what's a machlokas? Madam Ravodim Hayu. The time Ray Meir says the Ravodim because some Iker Shir Bepeh. The main type of singing is with your vocals. And therefore, even they play instruments, you don't need Levium to play instruments. Only Levium were kosher for Shir, but since they're playing instruments, they weren't singing, so they'd be okay for them. So where the Amar Levium Hayu, and Penina ben Antigonus says they were Levium, Kasavar Iker Shira Bekli. He says the main type of shira is with instruments, so therefore they needed Levium to play the instruments. This the Gemara says it's possible to say this. Rabbi Yossi and my Kasavar. Yossi was the middle opinion. He says they were Yisraelim. What does he hold? Ikasavar, if he holds Iker Shir Bepeh, right? Afila Avadim Nami. If he holds that the main type of song is with your mouth, instruments are not important, so then even Avadim play instruments. Why do you say it to be Yisraelim? Ikasavar Iker Shir Bekli. If the main type of singing is with a kli, Levium and Yisraelim lo, you have to be Levium. The only Levium are kosher for the shir. Ella the Kuliyam Iker Shir Bepeh. The Gemara concludes, and this is seemingly that halacha. Shmuel, the fly is not being nice to you. I see. Why are you afraid of a fly?
I just have this thing. I don't know where it came from. You want to analyze my fears? Okay, let's go. Come.
Maybe you can bring a fly swatter tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Next year, you can bring a fly swatter.
It's not a bad idea.
Bring it with your initials on it. Like SS. That doesn't sound good. SS. All right, you don't have good initials. Shmuel Silver, but maybe you could sign your name. Silver, just sign it Silver. You'll put out a line of fly swatters.
Maybe
Alright.
Elon Musk will do that. He'll make a business. We can make another business.
Well, you're apparently the CEO of his company, so these are your decisions now, right? So the Gemara says, Ella the Alma Iker Shir Bepeh is paskin. The main type of singing is with your mouth, a cappella. The Marsavar Haki have a Maisa. What's the Machlokas? Is 3 Tanaim. All the Machlokas was what actually happened. The Marsavar Haki have a Maisa. Each one held this is what happened. You really didn't need Levium. And therefore, one is Levium, that's just what happened. Levium ended up playing the instruments, but it wasn't halachically necessary. Lamai nafkamina. So what's the nafkamina between who actually were playing the instruments? Lamali miduchim liyuchzin. In order to see someone who was playing an instrument and to take him and assume he was kosher yichus, and marry him to call them yuchus, a good lineage, in order to marry into a family, so there shouldn't be a pagam. Shouldn't be an isser that was in his family, done in his family, an isser, an illicit marriage. ula meiser, and also to give a meiser, to assert that he was a Levi. Only a Levi gets meiser rishon. So therefore, you can't, based on the fact that he's on the duchen, he's playing an instrument. You can't assume he has a good yichus, and you can't give him meiser. You could raise someone from the duchen to assume he has good yichus, because Yisrael has to have good yichus. Although the meiser, you can't give him meiser because he's Yisrael. You could actually raise someone from the duchen, even to give him meiser, because we can assume he's a Levi, because only Leviim were allowed to play the instruments. So up until now, we're saying this is the opinion of Rabbi Yosef. Now, Rabbi Yirmiyah is going to come in. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba on machlokes b'shir shoeva. We said yesterday, Rabbi Yosef said the machlokes between Rabban and Rabbi Yosef Yehuda, whether they played the Chalil on Shabbos and Yom Tov, was a machlokes by Karbanos. But everyone agreed by Simchas Beis Shoeva, you didn't play the Chalil. Rabbi Yirmiyah is going to argue on that. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba on machlokes b'shir shoeva. Machlokes Yosef Yehuda and the Rabbanon is by the Shir Shoeva, whether you play instruments. Yosef Yehuda savar Simcha Yisera Nami Dochas Shabbos. Yosef Yehuda says even on Yom Tov or Shabbos you would play the flute because it's Simcha Yisera. It's actually a very important Simcha. It's a big Simcha. So it's Dochas Shabbos. A lot of Rishonim say because you rely on the principle of Ein Shos V'Mikdash, therefore it's a necessary thing. So it's only Exer D'Rabbanan not to play instruments because it might break and you might have to fix it. So it's Exer D'Rabbanan. So Ein Shos V'Mikdash, so Dochas Shabbos. Or Shir Shal Korban. Rabbanan Savari Simcha Yisera ain't a Dochas Shabbat. They hold just having extra Simcha is not Dochas Shabbat. It's not necessary. It doesn't warrant being Dochas Shabbat. But Shir Shal Korban, Divrei Akol Avoda He V'Dochas Shabbat. When it comes to a regular Korban, which is a part of the Avoda, everyone agrees Dochas Shabbat. Meisive Shir Shal Shoeva Dochas Shabbat. Divrei Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda. Shir Shoeva is Dochas Shabbat. According to Yossi Yehuda, Rabbi Chama Omer Af Yom Tov Dochas. It's even not Yom Tov. Tiyufta the Rav Yosef, Tiyufta. It says explicitly in this price, it's Shir Shoeva. And we see Rav Yosef Yehuda allows it to be Docha. So you see it's a question on Rav Yosef. It's proof against Rav Yosef, Tiyufta, the Gemara says. So the Gemara says it's a good proof. We can knock at Rav Yosef in that regard. Lema b'Shir Shoeva Huda Pligi, al b'Shir Shekarban Devra Kol Docha Shabbos. So we're going to say, they only argue, it seems like by Shir Shoeva. By Korban, everyone gives Docha Shabbos to play the instruments. Lema to have it to you from the Rav Yosef betarti. Say it's going to be a question of Rav Yosef on two accounts, because Rav Yosef, right, says according to the Rabbanon, by Shir Shal Korban, he says machlok is by Shir Shal Korban, right? And he says according to the Rabbanon would say it be my Shir Shal Korban. It's not Dochas Shabbos. So here, maybe we seems to be saying that according to Erah, it will be Dochas Shabbos. I'm not Rav Yosef. Please be Shir Shal Korban. What dealing with Korban? He would say to you, they're really arguing about both. The high they can give you Shir Shal Korban. Why is the price still Shir Shal Korban? L'diach Koko Rav Yosef Bar Yehuda. Teach you the shita of Rav Yosef Yehuda that feel the Shoeva nami dach. Teach you a chiddush. Rav Yosef Yehuda wants to tell you even a Shoeva, which is not really an avoda, it's Dochas Shabbos and Yom Tov. But the Rabbanan would argue even Shal Korban is not Docha. Hakatani, the Gemara says Hakatani Zeu Chal Shal Beis Shoeva. You know Docha Shabbos Yom Tov. Zeu, it says the word Zeu. Zeu, they know Docha is Aval Korban Docha. When it says Korban is not is Docha. It is Docha Shabbos. Mani, who is the author of this price? Like, you name or Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda. If it's Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shir Shoeva Nami Docha. We already proved from Brisa before that he holds Shir Shoeva is also Docha Shabbos. The Chalil is Docha Shabbos and Yom Tov. El Rabbanan must be a Rabbanan. V'tiyuf the Rabbi Yosef v'tarte tiyuftos. Therefore, you're disproving Rabbi Yosef on two accounts. He is completely wrong, Rabbi Yosef, regarding this. He's 100% straight. He's 100% wrong regarding these two aspects, two halachas. Where is my time with the man, the Amar Iker Shira Bekli? What's the reason? Now, going back to this idea, right? Now, we'll try out the Iyun with Ben Sion over here, giving the ring. Iyun with Ben Sion. We just concluded before, we were talking about who were these people that played the flutes. Were they Avadim, Leviim? The Gemara Maskana was Iker Shira Bepeh. That's the Iker Shira Bepeh. Now we're saying, like Rabbi Yirmiyah is saying that according to everyone agrees that the Shir Shoeva is Docha, the Chalil, playing the instruments is Docha Shabbos and Yom Tov by a Korban. So if you say Iker Shir Bepeh, so then it's not significant to have to play an instrument on Shabbos and Yom Tov. It's not part of the Avoda. So if an Iker Shir is bepeh, so how is it Docha Shabbos and Yom Tov?
Right.
Stira. La'alacha. Paskin like Rabbi Yirmiyah. We've disproven Rabbi Yosef. Paskin like Rabbi Yirmiyah. At least by a Shir Shal Korban, he said, Machlok is by a Shir Shal Eva. But at least by a Shir Shal Korban, everyone agrees, even the Rabbanim agree. It's Docha Shabbos and Yom Tov. So you see Iker Shir B'Kli. It must be Iker Shir B'Kli. Not Iker Shir B'Peh.
Yes. Okay, that's part of the avodah.
So we can answer. How do you answer the question? It's a really good question.
Yes, very good question.
We're gonna see. We'll see in a second. Let's see. The Gemara says, "What's the reason?" My time on the Amr Iker Shira B'Kli. What's the reason the one says Shira B'Kli? That where does he learn that from? That the main part of singing is with instruments. Chizkiyahu said to bring the korban on his mizbeach. When he started to bring up the olah, Heichel Shir Hashem. He started the Shir Hashem. Dovid Melech Yisrael. And he started blowing the trumpets. And this is the important part. Dovid Melech Yisrael. The Tehilim, which are the instruments, David HaMelech was famous for his kinor, right? What do you say? It's a lyre or a harp.
What? Please don't call me a liar on a public video like this.
What exactly was David's kinor? Was it shaped like the Gesher HaMeitarim, the harp bridge, or was it shaped like one of those things like a semicircle with strings going down? Which one was it?
Which one was it?
And why did he have why is that synonymous with David HaMelech? Why was that important that he used to play musical instruments?
He had a song in the wedding scene, like around before you were born.
They actually have a hall here, Kinor Dovid.
Really?
But yeah, in Beit Shemesh.
So maybe you should ask them. Maybe that should be your next mission. Take your.
I'm gonna try Elim Ben Sion to resolve everything. Basakas. One second, wait for this. Wait.
Sorry.
It says Alidei Klei David Melech Yisrael. My time demand Amar Iker Shira B'Peh. So you say Al Klei David Melech Yisrael. So you see he was important for the instruments to be played, the lyre, the harp. So therefore that Iker Shira is B'Kli. My time demand Amar Iker Shira B'Peh. What's the reason one who says the main part of music is the vocals? They were together. The trumpeters weren't necessarily to play instruments. They were just to sound the trumpet, which was done with the karbanos, but not necessarily play music. Well, Meshorim, the people who sang with their voices, they sing in unison. It doesn't say anything about playing Klei David, musical instruments. According to the one who says Iker Shira B'Peh, what do you do with the first pasuk? You start singing with your mouth, with your vocals. You use the instruments in order to make the sound nice, but it wasn't the Iker. The Iker was your mouth, the vocals.
No, I'll tell you nowadays. I can tell you right away what's the Iker.
What is the Iker? What?
Go to any wedding, you'll see what the Iker is.
The band?
Well, what do you say?
Depends how good the singer is. I mean, if the singer has a very powerful voice, he's a very powerful singer, a very famous singer, people are paying attention to the singer. It depends how many people in the orchestra. I'm saying.
I don't know. They put up the highest they can.
What's the difference between an orchestra and a symphony?
An orchestra and a symphony?
You know what a symphony is?
Yeah, I know a symphony.
What's the difference between an orchestra and a symphony?
It's the same thing. It just one is
It's a tough question.
No, a symphony is you go to this place, this fancy hall, and you listen to a symphony. You don't listen to an orchestra.
Orchestra, they say, is up to 50 people. Symphony
really?
is over 50 people.
50
that's
people
what I read somewhere.
In watching it.
50 people playing musical instruments.
Music.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Symphony,
That's how many people play a symphony in symphony hall. What's it called? The
Philharmonic.
What's it called?
New York Philharmonic. Different cities have different
That
Philharmonic.
famous New York City, that famous hall?
Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
We talked about Carnegie Hall, right? The guy who made oil.
He made oil.
What did Carnegie famous for? Steel. All right, we gotta move.
Well, there are a lot of liars.
Either
it's not a new thing.
we're gonna get back to liars in a second. It says also that when the one who says Iker Shira B'Kli, it doesn't say anything about the Kelim, about instruments. The singers were comparable to the people who blew the trumpets. Just like the people who blew the trumpets were with an instrument. The Meshorim, the singers, were with a Kli. Oh, so now we can answer, based on this whole discussion we have, our original question. basically, right, in order to answer the question, the Gemara says, the one who says, Ikar Shira Bipeh, how does he answer the pasuk about Kli Dovid? Livsume Kala. He's still in Modeh that he had instruments. This is, we'll get back to weddings in a second. Sometimes you can have instruments, but they're not necessarily the Ikar, right? So really we hold Ikar Shira is Bipeh. But you need kalim livsume kala in order to make it sweeter, the sound. So it is considered part of an avoda. It's considered part of the avoda, and that's the difference between the kinor Dovid, the lyre, and the harp. What's the difference between a lyre and a harp?
I don't know.
One of them
worked with the Marx brothers.
One of them is.
Oh, that was harpo. I'm sorry.
Anyway, gesher meitarim, something like that big. I guess I'd call that a lyre, right? That would be something that is so humongous that actually is the kli itself produces the actual music. A harp, that semicircle thing that David HaMelech had, that was just livsume kala. That's how we paskin that livsume kala. Complementary, exactly. It complements. So really, Ikar Shira, that's the whole thing. Ikar Shira, Ikar and Tafel. What is Ikar Shira Bepet? But Tafel, that's the chiddush of the Gemara, Livsume Kala, that the Tafel also is part of the Avoda. You need it, it sweetens it. So that's the best musician that we learn from this. When you get a wedding, get a great singer with a strong voice, sweet, strong voice, and you get a couple pieces of the orchestra in order to sweeten, to go along and to enhance the vocals. But really, the best is the vocals. I like the Maccabees. Shout out to the Maccabees, a cappella. I like them. All right. Where it says Mishnah, Misha Lora Simchas Beisho Eva Lora Simcha Miyamav. Someone never saw Simcha Eva, never saw a Simcha Miyamav.
Wow.
That's a great Simcha. Motza Yom Tov Rishon Shelchag Yardu LaEzras Nashim. They would go down to the Ezras Nashim, right? We're in the Ezras Nashim now. Masachin Sham Tikkun Gadol, and they would have a Tikkun Gadol, a big fixing. They would fix something. We'll see what they'll fix later on. Menorah Shel Zav Ayusham. They were big menorahs, candelabrums of gold. The Arbas Falim Shalzab Roshem. Each one of them had 4 buckets of gold on top of them for the 4 directions. The Arbas Sulamos Kolechad Ve'echad. Each one had a ladder going up to it. Arba Yeladim Parachik Huna, and 4 young Kohanim would go up. Yudeim Kadim Shal Meya Ve'estrim Lug Shehein Matil Nechol Safa V'Safa. They had in total 120 lug, divided by 4, 30 lug. Each of them would put 30 lug into these buckets. From the worn out pants of the Kohanim and from the worn out belts, they would rip it up and they would make wicks. All the courtyard in Yerushalayim used to light up from these great lights, these great menorahs that had big fires. Chasidim, right? Chasidim, only Ger Chasidim envisions Chasidim. So it says in Rashi. Anshe Maisa, people who did Maisa, Askonim, like a Heshi Tishler. Hayum Rachtim Bifneim, they would dance in front of them. Heshi Tishler is I would say he's an alpha male also. He's a brash guy, he doesn't care what he says.
Really?
Rachtim Bifneim.
Does he go to Tish also?
No, he goes to jail. He went to jail a couple of times. Alright, he incited violence. Anshe Maisa, Rachtim Bifneim. They would dance in front of them. Avukos shel or should be a dam in front of these menorahs, I guess. And they would actually have torches of fire in their hands, which they would flip in there and juggle. They would say Tehilim, let's say. The Levim would stand there with their harps and their lyres and their mitzalsim, the cymbals, with trumpets, below mizbar. Many types of instruments. It would be a symphony, let's say. They would stand on the top of the 15 stairs going down from the Ezras Nashim. It says Shir Ha'maalos 15 times Tehilim. That's probably 15 stairs from the Ezras Nashim to the Nashim. Why? Because if you say Tehilim enough, you'll realize that it's more important to associate with women than to associate with men. Say Shir Ha'maalos, you say enough Tehilim, you realize
that's true. If you ever go to some place,
you lower yourself. That's the point of this world.
They have lots of Sheshiva by the Hasidic They give people to say the Shir Ha'maalos, you know that.
But I'm saying this is the symbolism of what you see over here. The whole point of this world is to lower yourself. The highest grade of simcha, and a year is supposed to be with simcha, is to lower yourself from the Ezras Nashim to the Ezras Yisrael. You say enough Tehilim, you'll lower yourself 15 steps. You get to Ezras Nashim, you'll associate with women as opposed to associating with men all the time. This is the Yesod of Judaism, Yesod of the world. All right.
Cut that part out, please.
No. I'm the Shnei Kohanim Shar Elyon. The Levim would stand there, Klishir, with instruments. Shir of Amdu Shnei Kohanim Shar Elyon. 2 Kohanim would stand on the top gate. Shiyorim Ezras Nashim. Shnei Kohanim would be and they would hold 2 trumpets. Kara Gever Tiku Iriu with Tiku. Someone would call out, blow the shofar, blow the trumpets. Higil Lamala, and they would blow it. Higil Lamala Asiris, they got to the 10th step. Tiku Iriu with Tiku. Again, they sounded Tkiya Truat Tkiya. Higil Azarah, when he got to Ezras Nashim, Tiku Iriu with Tiku. Again, they would Tkiya Truat Tkiya. You token Holchan Hashemagil Shara Yosem Mizrach until they got to the end of the Ezras Nashim, where you leave the whole edifice of the Beis Hamikdash. Higil Shar Hayotzim Mizrach, when they got to the last gate afterwards, Hafku Pnei and Mizrach Lamarov. They would turn their face from the east to the west, back towards the Beis Hamikdash. They would bow to the sun. They would place their backside to the Heichal, Fneim Kedma, and they would face east. Mishtachim Kedma, they would bow down Kedma Lashemesh, the sun. And we turn our eyes to Hashem, to the Beis Hamikdash. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Hayushonim Omer, Anu Laka, Ulakainenu. We to Hashem, and Hashem, our eyes, to Hashem, our eyes, they repeat it. Tana Rabban, we have to move fast over here. Mishlo Ra, Simcha V'Yisrael, Lo Ra, Simcha Miyama. We never saw Simcha V'Yisrael, we never saw a great Simcha in his day. Mishlo Ra, Yishalayim Tifarta. Never to Yerushalayim when it's splendor. Lo Ra, Krach Nechma Ma'olam. It was a beautiful city, Yerushalayim. Mishlo Ra, Beis Hamikdash Binyano. Someone didn't see Beis Hamikdash when it was really built up. Lo Ra, Binyan Mefur Ba'olam. We never saw a great edifice, a great building in his lifetime. Mahi. What was his Beis Hamikdash? Amar Abayi, V'Tem Rav Chisda, Zeh Binyan Hordus. This is the last, what we have remaining now from the Beis Hamikdash Hordus fixed up. And my Banye, how did he build it? Amar Rava, Ba'amni Shisha Maramra. He used marble, green and white marble. He used green, blue, and white marble. Apik Safa Ayil Safa. He put one column and then a column recessed the other column below it. In order that it should stay well, the plaster should stay well. He wanted to plate it with gold. Amrli Rabban Shafi, leave it. The Haki Shaprin's fate. Looks nice. The Miskazek can do something. Look at the waves of the sea. Tanya, Yehuda Omer, Misha Lora, Dioplustin, Shal Alexandria, Shal Mitzrayim, Lora Bechorin, Shal Yishal. No one saw this. We're going to see what Dioplustin is in a second. In Alexandria, Mitzrayim, in Ezra, the cover of Yisrael. Amru, Kimin, Basilki Gdola Haisa. It was like a basilica. You know what a basilica is? Basilica is a big type of church. Or not necessarily used for church purposes, used for judging and public convention. The most famous basilica is St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican City. It's a big building with columns and different aisles. They're the biggest church in the world, St. Peter's Basilica. Anyway, it was used Basilica Gdol Haita, Safa with Nimisata, one row of bench in front of the other. Pamima Yuba. Shishim Ribo, Shishim Rabba Kflayim Yot Mitzrayim. It was double the amount of people than 600,000 people left Mitzrayim. It was double, 600,000 times 2 in this shul, or it was used as shul. Vayava Ayin Alek Kitrados Shalzav. There were 71 golden seats. Keneged Ayin Aleph Shal Sanhedrin Gdol. The 71 people who served on the Sanhedrin. Kol Achas V'Achas Enam Kusa Me'esrim V'Echad Ribo Kikrei Zav. It had, each one was 21 kikarim. Gemara takes out Ribo. Kikar is 60 mana of gold. They weighed, or pure gold. These seats are made for their rabbanim. Bima shal eitz be'em siyasa, and a wooden bima in the middle. The chazan knesset omed alev v'sudar biyado. Chazan knesset was standing on it, and he had waved a sudar, a handkerchief. It came a jigil anos amen. When they got the answering amen, hala menif b'sudar. Chalam onim amen. Everyone would know they were answering amen by the fact that he was waving the sudar. Although Yoshim Uravin, they didn't sit mixed together. All the Zahab Neatzman, the goldsmiths sat by themselves, the Katzman Neatzman, the silversmiths by themselves, the Nefachim Neatzman, the blacksmiths by themselves, the Tarsiyasim Neatzman, the coppersmiths by themselves, the Gardim Neatzman, the weavers by themselves. Shani Nichlan Hashem, when a poor person would go there, so he would realize where his people, his tradesmen were sitting. When Nifnal Hashem, and he would go there. Mashal Parnasasa, Isha and Shebisa. He'd be recognizable to everyone. What his trade was, to be able to get Parnas out of this. Amar Abai, V'chulu Kaslinu Alexandros Muktan. Alexander Muktan, oh gosh, we've gone over 30 minutes. This is the first time I've ever gone over a half an hour. I promised never be over a half an hour. It happens sometimes.
Well,
anyway, Alexander Muktan, liar, right? Alexander Muktan, Alexander the Great, he killed them all. My timer, already upon him. They violated this pasuk law. Pasuk says you're not allowed to go back to Mitzrayim. They went back to Mitzrayim.
Alexander killed them.
Exactly, because they say it doesn't make sense historically, because this is talking about Alexander's Moktan, Alexander the Great, named the city Alexandria, was named after him. This is talking about right after they built the second base of Mikdash. They left. They went at the end of the first base of Mikdash. They stayed their community. Alexander Moktan was at the end of the second base of Mikdash, and he killed them later, not then. So it doesn't make any sense.
Killed them
anyway. The Inu Hadar, and they went back to Mitzrayim. Asu ki asa shechinu Hadar also ki asa shechinu dahavu karabu sefrayim. When he came there, he found them reading the Sefer Torah. Yisa Hashem alecha goy mirachok. This is actually this week's parsha. Kisavo. Hashem will bring a nation from far away. Amar Mithya, Gabra Bai Lamese Sfinsa Basara Yomi. Me, when I went on the Sfina boat, is supposed to come in 10 days to here, to Alexandria, Mitzrayim. Dali Yezikav Asi Sfinta B'chamisha Yomi. A wind picked it up, and it went in 5 days. Nafal Alayah Kalinu said, the Pasuk is talking to me. The Pasuk is talking about a goy will come very fast from far away. So it must be talking about me. And it says that it's part of the Klolos that Ali was killed, so therefore he fell upon them and he killed them. Now we'll stop here.
That's not a good time to end.
We have to end. We're over. All right. Don't worry. They'll be killed. He didn't kill out all of them. There are still the Jews that lived in Egypt. And what's the capital of Egypt?
Egypt. A couple.
Yosef, Cairo. Bye.